We're on the edge of a revolution, not just the one about leaving Europe, but in our use of energy. In this country, compared with Germany and France, we do fairly well. They are using about 20% more energy than we are. But still, it's too much. It's too much when it's oil, gas, and we still use quite a lot of coal. It accounts for 19% or so of our total energy use. And of course these days, because of certain government policies, we don't have a coal industry anymore. It's been destroyed, so we have to import it. And that's a cost to us. The revolution that I'm talking about is that of renewable energy. It is now cheaper to produce electricity in some parts of the world using solar panels than it is to use gas. It's getting down to some 5 cents per kilowatt hour. That makes it extremely useful. And we, of course, have wind, although the government a few years ago made a very bad decision. We had a wonderful production unit on the Isle of Wight, which did everything, really. It made the fans for wind turbines and, of course, employed a lot of people and essentially kept the skills to make such products in this country. Somebody somewhere in some silly office decided it was cheaper, and that's a terrible word, cheap. It was cheaper to buy it from abroad than it would be to make it ourselves. I just want to take that analogy of going to a restaurant or getting a takeaway meal compared with cooking it yourself. Not only do you lose the expertise, you pay more for it. Don't understand the logic of buying stuff that you don't produce yourself. So that's something we should think about. Let's look at solar panels. One thing I've never understood is why we allow our builders to make a lot of money building new buildings. And I have to say they build them to a lower standard than we once did, because that was something else the government removed. But that's another story. Why don't we ensure that every building has solar panels on the roof? They're quite easily replaceable as the technology improves, and it has improved. 20 years ago, you were lucky to get, 5 or 10% energy out of your solar panel. Now it's talking 30, 35%. It improves all the time. And of course, the more people that use any product, there's a basic law. Maybe I'll call it Lockwood's Law, but there is a basic law that suggests that the more people use, the more expertise they have, and the cheaper it becomes. It's an economy of scale which doesn't rely upon commercial application. Right. So our new plan is going to look at the installation of solar panels on every new building and bring back the grants they're removing from those people that install them or have installed them in the past. And of course, the great problem with solar energy is on a day like today when it's pouring with rain, they suggest that solar energy won't be as efficient. Well, it's not that different. It's about 80% that of a bright sunny day. There's a lot of energy coming through the clouds that we can capture with solar panels. So that's not a problem, really. The real problem is storage. We need it in the middle of the night. Instead of cosily wrapping ourselves in a duvet and going to bed, we stay up. Good Lord. And we use televisions and all sorts of other bits of equipment like ovens that use energy. And so the weakness, and it's only a minor weakness, is that of storage. there are different initiatives around the world that are trying to combat this. In Holland, only 40 miles away from where I'm now talking, there is a town that captures solar panel energy on a daily basis and stores it in their electric cars. The electric car, the batteries of which are used to propel the vehicle, but they don't use all the energy. So you can take the energy out of that battery and use it to run your house in the evening when you get back home. Hey, that sounds like a good idea, because that catches two birds with one stone. And that's the way we've got to start thinking. Stop believing that the large corporations, I don't want to name them, they'll probably sue me, can provide us with cheap energy. Most energy can actually be provided virtually at source. And if we link together with these housing estates that we're going to be forced to build, then we can all gain. So let's start thinking about energy, shall we?